Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Let's get real. You trusted them, leaned on them, and believed they cared for you as much as you did for them. But now, things feel different. Confusion clouds your mind. You're walking on eggshells, constantly second-guessing yourself, wondering, is it me? Am I the problem? At first, everything seemed wonderful. They were kind, attentive, and genuinely seemed to understand you. They made you feel seen, heard, and valued. But over time, subtle shifts started happening. Maybe their once consistent kindness now feels conditional, their warmth turning cold without warning. You notice moments where their words don't match their actions, leaving you doubting your perception of reality. Toxic relationships are like invisible traps. They don't announce themselves with sirens or flashing red lights. Instead, they sneak in, disguised in apologies that never lead to change or promises that fade into the same old patterns. It's not always easy to recognize what's happening, especially when love blurs your judgment. We want to believe the best in people, especially those we care for. But sometimes that belief is exploited. Here's the hard truth. Some people know how to manipulate others, and they do it intentionally. Dark psychology, a field that examines human behavior and manipulation, shows us how certain individuals prey on our vulnerabilities. They use kindness as a tool, apologies as bait, and promises as a way to keep us hooked. This isn't about you being weak. It's about them knowing how to exploit the strengths of your empathy and loyalty. Today, I'm here to help you see through the facade. This isn't just about giving you tips or pointing out flaws in someone else. It's about empowering you. Recognizing the signs of a toxic relationship is the first step toward reclaiming your peace, confidence, and self-worth. Together, we'll uncover 5 red flags that often signal a relationship has turned toxic. These aren't abstract ideas. They're practical, real-life patterns that you may already be seeing but haven't yet named. Each of these red flags will come with examples you can relate to, because toxic relationships thrive in ambiguity. They make you question your reality. And by identifying these behaviors, you're taking the first step toward clarity. But this process isn't just about them, it's also about you. Toxic relationships don't only affect your mental state, they can erode your sense of self. They make you feel smaller, like your needs and feelings don't matter. Now, I want you to ask yourself a hard question. Are you ignoring the signs because you genuinely believe they'll change? Or is it because you're afraid of what life might look like without them? It's okay to feel scared. Change is always hard, especially when it means letting go of someone who once felt like your safe space. But staying in an unhealthy environment only prolongs the pain. As we go through these red flags, remember this. You are not alone, and your experiences matter. The struggles you've faced in your relationship are not a reflection of your worth. Instead, they're a sign of how much you care and how deeply you've tried to make things work. But there comes a point where you need to prioritize yourself, your well-being, and your happiness. Finally, I encourage you to share your story in the comments below. It might feel intimidating, but your courage could be the spark someone else needs to start their healing journey. Sometimes, seeing someone else step into their strength is all the inspiration we need to find our own. Now, let's dive into the 5 red flags of a toxic relationship. What you learn today might just be the first step toward taking back control of your life. Number 1. Emotional manipulation. Toxic partners are masters of manipulation. They know exactly how to twist situations and make you feel guilty, even when you've done nothing wrong. Imagine this. You've planned a night out with friends after a long week. Instead of being supportive, your partner says something like, "Oh, I guess I don't matter anymore." Instantly, your excitement is replaced by guilt, and you cancel your plans to fix things. This is how they gain control, by using your emotions against you. Emotional manipulators thrive on your empathy. They know you care deeply, and they exploit that kindness. They craft their words to shift the blame onto you, leaving you second-guessing your intentions. Over time, this repeated manipulation makes you dependent on their approval, chipping away at your confidence. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom is your shield. While you can't stop their attempts to manipulate you, you can control how you respond. The first step is to recognize that the guilt you feel is not yours to carry. Ask yourself, is this guilt truly mine, or is it being forced upon me? When you separate their manipulation from your reality, you take back control of your emotions. To break free from emotional manipulation, stand firm in your decisions. If your partner uses guilt to sway you, calmly but confidently reaffirm your choices. For instance, respond with, "I've made these plans and I'm sticking to them. We can talk when I'm back." This approach sets boundaries without escalating conflict, showing them their tactics won't work. Every time you resist their manipulation, you reclaim a piece of your confidence. You prove to yourself that their approval isn't the foundation of your self-worth. Remember, their emotions are their responsibility, not yours. If you're ready to protect your peace from emotional manipulation, drop a comment. My strength. Number 2. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is one of the most damaging forms of psychological manipulation in relationships. It's designed to make you question your reality, your memories, and even your sanity. At first, it may seem subtle, almost unnoticeable, but over time, gaslighting can warp your perception, leaving you feeling confused, doubtful, and emotionally exhausted. Imagine this scenario. You've caught your partner in a lie. Maybe they told you they were going to a meeting, but you later find out they were somewhere else. Or perhaps they said something hurtful in the heat of the moment. When you confront them, they don't admit the truth. Instead, they say things like, "You're overreacting," or "You're just imagining things." That never happened. They deny the facts of the situation and shift the focus onto your reaction instead of addressing their own behavior. Now, you're left questioning your own memory. The more they insist that you're wrong, the more uncertain you become. Eventually, you start to doubt yourself and your instincts, wondering if you really did overreact, or if you're simply being too sensitive. This is gaslighting at its core. It's a tactic used by manipulators to destabilize your sense of reality. They want to control how you see the world, and the more you question your own thoughts and feelings, the more power they have over you. Gaslighters thrive on creating confusion and emotional chaos, often to keep you in a state of dependency on them. Over time, this makes you less confident in your judgment and more reliant on their version of events. One powerful example comes from a story shared by a friend of mine. She confronted her partner about finding flirtatious messages on his phone. Instead of taking responsibility, he turned it all around and accused her of invading his privacy. "Why are you snooping through my stuff? You're crazy to even check my phone." Suddenly, the betrayal wasn't the issue anymore. The issue became her behavior, something she had every right to question. She began to feel guilty for even looking at his phone in the first place, and that guilt distracted her from the fact that he was hiding something from her. This shift from the real problem to the blame being placed on her is one of the main strategies used by gaslighters. What makes gaslighting so dangerous is that it doesn't just create a sense of guilt or confusion in the moment, it undermines your entire sense of self. You begin to feel like your perception of events is unreliable. You question your own memories, your emotions, and your reactions. Over time, this can lead to self-doubt and a loss of confidence, making it harder for you to trust yourself or make decisions. This is why gaslighting is often used in toxic relationships to maintain control and manipulate someone into believing they are the problem rather than the one causing harm. Dark psychology explains that gaslighters want to manipulate your mind because they know how much power your thoughts and beliefs hold. Once they can manipulate your reality, they've essentially gained control over your mind. They know that people tend to want to believe the best in others, especially those they love. So they use this to their advantage. They twist your words, your feelings, and your experiences until you can no longer trust your own judgment. Gaslighters are adept at making you question even the most obvious truths, and they do this in such a way that it feels like you're the one who is at fault. But Stoicism offers a strong defense against this kind of manipulation. As the philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This reminds us that while you can't control the actions of others, you always have control over how you respond. In the face of gaslighting, you can reclaim your peace by trusting yourself and your instincts. You don't have to accept someone else's distorted version of reality. Instead, you can stand firm in your truth and protect your mind from manipulation. If you find yourself in a situation where you're being gaslighted, there are a few ways to reclaim your mental and emotional strength. First, you need to trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it's because it likely is. Your gut is a powerful tool, and it's often more accurate than the words of a manipulator trying to distort reality. Gaslighters will tell you that you're crazy or imagining things, but your intuition knows what's true. It's important to listen to that inner voice that says, "This doesn't feel right." Another crucial step is to document what's happening. Keep a record of events, conversations, and any behavior that feels manipulative. Write down dates, times, and specific words spoken, because the gaslighted will try to deny things when confronted. By having written evidence of what actually happened, you'll have something to ground yourself in when your reality is being distorted. Keeping a journal of your feelings, thoughts, and experiences can be a great way to keep track of what's going on in the relationship. It's also important to set firm boundaries. Gaslighters thrive on confusion and manipulation, and if they sense that they can twist your perception, they will keep pushing those boundaries. By setting clear limits, whether it's calling out their behavior, refusing to accept their distortions, or leaving a conversation when it turns manipulative, you send a strong message that you won't tolerate their attempts to control your reality. Most importantly, don't isolate yourself. Gaslighters often try to separate you from those who can support you, making you feel like you're the only one who's wrong. Reach out to trusted friends or family members who can validate your experiences. Talk to people who care about you and can offer a different perspective. The more you share your truth, the harder it becomes for a gaslighter to control the narrative. Lastly, remember that your truth matters. Even when someone tries to twist your words or make you question your reality, never lose sight of your own feelings and experiences. You have the right to trust yourself and to stand firm in your understanding of what's real. As Epictetus taught, your peace of mind comes from within. The world around you may try to shake your sense of reality, but your inner strength is what will keep you grounded. If you're ready to trust your instincts, type "I trust myself" in the comments. Number 3. Isolation tactics. Isolation is one of the most subtle but damaging tools toxic individuals use to gain control over their partners. It often starts innocently, disguised as deep love or concern. They might say things like, "I just want to spend more time with you," or "I don't think your friends really care about you the way I do." At first, it may even feel flattering, like they're so invested in you that they want you all to themselves. But over time, this behavior begins to chip away at your connections with others, leaving you more isolated and emotionally dependent on them. Take Sarah's story as an example. She was dating someone who constantly criticized her best friend. He'd tell her things like, "She's jealous of our relationship," or "She's a bad influence on you. Don't you see how she's trying to sabotage us?" At first, Sarah dismissed it, but as the comments became more frequent, she started to doubt her friend's intentions. Slowly, she pulled away, spending less time with her friend and more time with her partner. What Sarah didn't realize was that this isolation was deliberate. The less she relied on her friend for support, the more she leaned on her partner, giving him greater control over her emotions and decisions. This tactic is a hallmark of toxic relationships because it serves a dual purpose. First, it removes your support system, making it harder for you to seek advice or perspective from others. Second, it deepens your dependence on the toxic partner. With fewer people to turn to, you start to believe that they are the only one who truly understands you. This creates an imbalance of power in the relationship, giving them more control while leaving you feeling trapped and alone. The psychological reasoning behind isolation tactics lies in manipulation. Toxic partners know that by weakening your external relationships, they can make you feel like you have no choice but to stay with them. It's a form of emotional control that exploits your human need for connection and belonging. When you're cut off from your friends and family, your emotional defenses are lowered and you become more susceptible to their influence. This is where Stoicism can offer a guiding light. Seneca wisely advised, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Relationships at their core should uplift and support you. They should encourage your growth, not diminish your independence. If someone in your life is actively trying to distance you from those who care about you, it's a red flag that can't be ignored. Instead of seeing their concern as love, ask yourself, is this relationship building me or breaking me? Another way to recognize isolation is to observe patterns in their behavior. Toxic partners often discourage you from attending social gatherings, belittle your friends or family members, or make you feel guilty for wanting to spend time with others. They might say things like, "Why do you need to go out when you have me?" Or, "Your family doesn't really understand you like I do." These statements may sound caring, but they're rooted in control, not love. If you find yourself in this situation, it's important to act before the isolation deepens. Start by reconnecting with the people who truly care about you. It may feel difficult or even awkward at first, especially if time has passed, but genuine friends and family will welcome you back with open arms. Let them know what you're going through and ask for their support. Sometimes, just talking to someone outside of the relationship can give you the clarity and strength you need to take the next step. Setting boundaries is another critical step in protecting yourself from isolation tactics. When your partner tries to discourage you from spending time with others, stand firm. Say something like, "I value my relationships with my friends and family, and spending time with them is important to me." If they truly care about your happiness, They will respect your boundaries instead of trying to break them. One of the most empowering actions you can take is to remind yourself of your own worth and independence. Toxic partners thrive on creating dependency, but Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from within. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you reclaim your independence, you take away their power to control you. Trust in your ability to make decisions for yourself, and don't let their attempts at isolation dictate your choices. Remember, relationships should never make you feel smaller or more alone. They should amplify your happiness, not diminish it. If someone is trying to cut you off from the people who care about you, they are not acting out of love. They are acting out of control. Love supports. It doesn't isolate. If you value your independence, drop an affirmation in the comments, "I stand free." Number 4. Extreme jealousy and possessiveness. A little jealousy in a relationship might feel normal, even flattering at first. It can seem like a sign that your partner values you deeply. However, when jealousy turns into constant accusations, demands, or control, it becomes toxic. Instead of feeling loved, you feel suffocated. It starts small, like questions about who you were with or why you were late, but it escalates into monitoring your every move, demanding passwords, and accusing you of cheating with no evidence. These behaviors are not love. They are control disguised as concern. Imagine this. Ravi was in a relationship where his partner constantly needed to know where he was, who he was talking to, and what he was doing. If Ravi didn't answer her texts immediately, she would accuse him of hiding something. What started as simple questions turned into a full-scale invasion of his privacy. His partner would check his phone, criticize his friendships, and even question why he smiled at strangers. Ravi gave in to these demands to avoid arguments, but over time he lost his sense of freedom. This isn't love, it's possessiveness. Extreme jealousy is rooted in fear. Toxic partners fear losing control or being abandoned, but instead of addressing these feelings, they project them onto you. They shift the blame, making you responsible for their insecurities. If you try to defend yourself, they accuse you of being defensive or hiding something. This creates a never-ending cycle where you feel guilty and responsible for emotions that aren't yours to carry. Dark psychology explains this as a form of emotional manipulation. By making you feel untrustworthy, they gain power over you. Every accusation keeps you on the defensive, and every act of compliance reinforces their control. This strategy isn't about love. It's about ensuring you're too preoccupied proving your loyalty to ever question their behavior. The truth is, a partner who truly loves you will trust you. They won't need constant reassurance because they'll respect your independence and choices. Possessiveness, however, thrives on distrust. It creates an environment where you're always second-guessing yourself, feeling like you've done something wrong even when you haven't. Toxic jealousy also isolates you. A possessive partner often criticizes your relationships with friends or family, suggesting they're a bad influence or don't support your relationship. Over time, you might pull away from the people who care about you, leaving you with no support system outside of your partner. This isolation isn't accidental. It's a deliberate tactic to make you more dependent on them. Stoicism offers a way to handle such situations. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When faced with extreme jealousy, don't mirror their behavior. Instead, remain calm and grounded in your values. You can't control their jealousy, but you can control how you respond. Refuse to let their accusations dictate your actions. For instance, if they demand access to your phone, calmly state, "I value my privacy, and trust is essential in any relationship. I can't give that up. Extreme jealousy often leads you to shrink your world to accommodate their fears. You might avoid social events, stop pursuing hobbies, or even give up on dreams just to avoid conflict. But this only feeds their control. Instead, remind yourself that a healthy relationship allows you to grow as an individual. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who help you become better." Ask yourself, is this relationship building me up or breaking me down? Breaking free from possessiveness starts with recognizing it. Ask yourself if you constantly feel like you're walking on eggshells. Do you feel guilty for things you haven't done? Have you stopped spending time with loved ones because it upsets your partner? If the answer is yes, it's time to set boundaries. A healthy relationship requires mutual trust and respect, not constant surveillance and accusations. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care about yourself as much as you care about the relationship. Start small by reclaiming your independence. If your partner questions your whereabouts, respond firmly but kindly. "I appreciate your concern, but I need space to live my life." If they refuse to respect your boundaries, it's a clear sign the relationship may not be sustainable. Rebuilding your confidence is also crucial. Toxic partners often erode your self-esteem to make you easier to control. Take time to reconnect with yourself. Spend time with supportive friends, pursue hobbies, and remind yourself of your worth outside of the relationship. You don't have to navigate this alone. Reach out to someone you trust, whether it's a close friend, family member, or therapist. Talking about your experience can help you see the situation more clearly and give you the strength to take the next steps. Extreme jealousy is not your fault, and it's not your responsibility to fix. You deserve a relationship based on trust, freedom, and mutual respect. Friend, if you are with me till here, write in the comment, "I am moving forward with you." Number 5. Constant criticism and belittling. In toxic relationships, criticism goes beyond helpful feedback. It's a tool used to chip away at your confidence. The goal isn't to help you grow, it's to make you feel like you're never enough. This constant belittling might seem subtle at first, but over time, it starts to eat away at your self-esteem. For instance, let's say you get a promotion or achieve something you've worked hard for. Instead of celebrating with you, your partner says something like, "That's nothing special. It's just luck." What should be a moment of pride for you becomes overshadowed by their dismissive words. You start questioning if your success is truly meaningful or if you even deserve it. This doesn't only happen with work or achievements. It can happen when you share your dreams. Imagine you're passionate about a new hobby or a project you want to pursue. Instead of encouragement, your partner might dismiss it, saying, "You'll never be any good at that." These comments seem small at first, but the damage builds up. Over time, you begin to question yourself and your worth. You might even give up on things that once brought you joy because they don't seem important anymore. The real issue here isn't the criticism itself, but the intent behind it. Toxic people use criticism as a way to make you feel inferior. By belittling your accomplishments and dreams, they gain control over you. The more they make you doubt yourself, the more dependent you become on their approval. You start to rely on their judgment because you no longer trust your own. Here's the psychology behind it. When you're constantly criticized, your sense of self-worth gets tied to how others view you. You stop trusting your instincts and start questioning your every decision. You may even become afraid to share your ideas or passions, fearing the judgment that will follow. The cycle is dangerous because the more you internalize their criticism, the less confident you become. And the less confident you are, the easier it is for the toxic person to control you. But this is where Stoicism offers a way out. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus taught that you can't control what others say or do, but you can control your response. In situations where someone constantly criticizes you, you don't need to accept their words as truth. Instead, you can step back and ask yourself, does their opinion define me? The answer should always be no. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic, said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This means that when someone criticizes you, you don't need to internalize their negativity. You don't have to become like them. Instead, focus on staying true to who you are, regardless of their opinions. Remember, your self-worth isn't defined by how others see you. It's determined by how you see yourself. Don't let someone's words strip you of your confidence. If you know you've worked hard or achieved something meaningful, celebrate it without needing validation from anyone else. And if someone tries to tear you down, remind yourself that their criticism says more about them than it does about you. Instead of internalizing their negativity, use it as fuel to keep moving forward. In a toxic relationship, their goal is to break you down, but your goal should be to build yourself back up. No matter how many times they try to diminish your achievements, you have the power to reclaim your confidence. Your worth is yours to define, and no one else should have the power to take that away. If you've been in a toxic relationship where criticism was constant, remember, it's not about what they say, it's about how you respond. The more you stay grounded in your own self-worth, the less their words will have any power over you. Toxic relationships are like quicksand. They pull you in slowly until you're stuck. But recognizing these red flags is the first step to freeing yourself. Remember, a healthy relationship uplifts and empowers you. It doesn't leave you feeling small or trapped. What red flags have you experienced in relationships? Share your stories in the comments. And if this resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue this journey toward healthier, happier relationships together.